Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, being a wet day and not really being able to do much outside, I was going to do something on the Commodore, but there was a more pressing problem that I'd been neglecting for a while, which was not on the Commodore, but on the Magna. Just a few cleaning products that I was going to do something on there, but I thought, no, I better get stuck into this one. This is the back of the wagon, of course, and underneath here, of course, is the petrol tank, and inside the petrol tank is the fuel sender, which, of course, sends you your gauge to the gauge, or readings to the gauge. So on these, they were notorious for a bit of a problem, and there's the cover, or the bit of masonite, which is just press studded in. So we just got to lift that up and get that out the way. The spare tyre is under there, but we don't have to bother with that, so that stays where that is. And here's just the masonite that we just pull up, and then we get to the inspection plate, which has 4 screws on it, and we take that off, and it's a bit of an odd shape, but it'll be revealed why soon. We just take off the 4 screws, and then we've got access to the fuel pump and sender unit. So there's the plate removed, and of course now we've got access to the top of the petrol tank with its fuel pump and sender unit. And of course this is being a fuel injection, it's a high pressure pump, so that's why it's got tightened up ferrules on it rather than just push on pipes like the low pressure ones had, or the Carby model. There's a bit of better shot of where things are located. So you've got your fuel pump at the bottom, and the sender unit at the top. So now I've just got to disconnect the wire loom, and once that's disconnected, take out 3 screws and hopefully carefully withdraw the sender unit, and then replace the float. So now that I've removed the wire loom, I should be able to just take out those 3 screws, as I said, and there it is. It's all out. And I did do this off camera, and did do a bit of a test on the sender unit itself, which seemed to work out quite nicely. As you can see, they just sweated together, and that's where the petrol leaks through and turns the fuel sender or the fuel float into or effectively a lead weight. So yeah, and it just reads empty all the time, which is not ideal. This problem was rectified later on with, as you can see, the sender unit float that I've replaced it with. Fortunately, it was just a click on and click off arrangement. But yeah, I was just testing it out there, make sure that it was moving up and down freely, and nothing was binding or anything else was going on. And the old sender unit was absolutely chock-a-block with fuel. So yeah, it really did need to be changed. So yeah, as you can see there, that's it's like a fiberglassy type of material that's inert to petrol. There's the ring that the gauge or the fuel sender unit screws into, and there's the 3 screws. I did go out to the shed and find some brand new screws actually, so I thought, well, while I had everything apart, I might as well replace it with brand new screws. Not that there was anything wrong with the old ones, but always better to put new screws in, I reckon, if you've got them, and I did. So yeah, just having a bit of a look over the sender unit there, and making sure that everything was moving and working correctly before putting it back into the petrol tank. Of course, once it's in there, you can't see what's going on, so you've sort of got to make sure that everything's working properly before you stick it back in there. But so I went out to the shed and I found some screws, 3 new screws, so I thought, well, I might as well put them in So there's the old screws, and the new screws are down the bottom of the picture. And they are genuine, but I probably half-inched at one stage. Now I'm just, I've put back the sander unit, and now I'm just hand torquing the screws up. I could have used a torque wrench, but I sort of know by hand torquing how much tension to put on them. So that's all well and good. I think it works out to be tight and a bit more. So yeah, now I've just got to put back the wire loom and then test it, and hopefully that it all works. Well, here comes the moment of truth. Once I settle down a bit, so we turn the ignition on, and presto, up it goes, up it goes. These were a notoriously slow gauge, and you know, to get any decent reading you had to go about half a mile down the road. But actually this, I'm quite impressed with the way the rate of this one. Since I did it, it's working a hell of a lot better. So I think it's a win-win for everything. I mean, that just scooted up. So yeah, I think I've had a win in both ways. I just turned off the ignition and watch it drop back down again. I did that a couple of times just to make sure that it was reading, but didn't bother showing you that. And there's the inspection plate that has to be put back on. There, just laid back over the top there. It has got a bit of a gasket around it as well, keep all the dust out of the inside of the cabin. And put back the 4 screws. And then put back the bit of masonite, and just, as I said, that's only press studded. There's the old sender unit float, which will no longer be any good for anything. Maybe just an ornament. But yeah, it served well for 30 odd years old. But like I said, they do end up weeping and letting in fuel and become a lead weight, which doesn't fare well for you know, getting a bit of a gauge on how much fuel you got in your tank. So I think it was a job worthwhile doing, and especially on a wet day when couldn't really do much else, and there was no car shows or anything going on. So I thought, well, might as well, while I had the opportunity, might as well do it. And now we've put back everything and put back the carpet. I say that carpet looks fantastic still for after 30 odd years. Still looks like new almost. Do keep a lino cover over the top of it, but yeah, underneath it's pretty good. Now, it's not a bad type of carpet either. So there's just the back of the wagon all back together again. Not that I had to pull that part to bits, but and now just hooking back the battery. Don't know why, but always just when I'm working on electrics and things and that, just always disconnect the battery. And now that that's all back, I just tested everything again just to make sure, and yep, everything was all good. So I'll say thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it sort of interesting. And like I said, it was a job that I wanted to do for a very long time. So thanks again for watching, and hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Maybe with some Commodore stuff. Okay, don't forget to like it too. Cheers, guys. Thanks again.